All right, well, hello. It's been a long time since I've said hello. It's been a long time since I have posted a new episode of No Easy Answers. It's been a long time since I've posted anything to this Patreon, and it's been a long time since I have done a whole lot of other things too. Some would say that I dropped off the face of the planet for about 6 months. And they wouldn't be too far off from that. This video is an apology to say that I'm sorry for having a hiatus, an unplanned hiatus that was unannounced and maybe took a few people by surprise, and a few listeners that have reached out and have said, yo, what are you doing? Where have you been? This video is also a thank you. It's also like a, hey, for those of you who stuck in there and contributed to this Patreon, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. And I want to tell y'all, well, first of all, what I've been doing, why I've been gone, and what I'm up to now, and where No Easy Answers is going. So I'm going to start first by telling you a bit about my personal life and why I'm talking to you today from Corpus Christi, Texas. That's right, I left New York. I moved from the Hudson Valley to the coast of Texas, and it is like 85 degrees out here right now. Today is like November 8th. And also I have this little pre-roll. If you can tell, I've started smoking it only because I've had a couple different outtakes of this video that didn't quite work, and I'm trying to light this up with you all. If you have any sort of smokage available, I would love to just chill and smoke this and give you all an update right now. So I'm going to light this up and tell you about where I've been, what I've been doing. So I had to move back to Texas to be close to my mom. That's the short and simple of it, man. I came down here a year ago in late September, hung out with my mom. During that time, she had a scare. I went to the hospital, had kidney disease, or kidney failure, rather. It was bad news, man, and I didn't look good. And my mom, she's better now, but I had to have a GoFundMe at that point, and it really made the difference for my mother because she, given her inability to work from that point forward till the time that she, till the New Year's came when she would be able to receive her retirement pay. She was forced into early retirement when she got diagnosed, wouldn't get paid for a few months until she could start collecting on her retirement. And so that GoFundMe really helped out and made the difference, right? But it really got me thinking as well. You know, the thing about living away from home, like I moved away to Phoenix at 21. I moved to Nashville shortly thereafter. I spent about 10 years in Nashville, and then I moved to New York and spent about 10 years in New York. So arguably I've been away for, you know, I'm 39 now, and I left when I was 21. So you do the math. I've been away a long time. And so I basically had to figure out, like, is there enough meaningfulness in my everyday life in New York versus the meaningfulness that would come from being closer to my mom. So also I'm living at home with my mom, with my sister, with my stepbrother, with my sister's wife, with my nephew, with my stepdad. There's a lot of people that live here right now, man. So there's going to be noises. That's part of it, right? If you hear any noises, it's just the sound of a home. Anyway, but there's a dog barking. I don't know if that's going to come out in this video. So I'm home. I came home, man. I just basically, I realized all the shows I was doing, the audience that I had there, the friends and chosen family and relationships, including a 4-year, relationship with, like all that was on the table towards, maybe I just need to go home and see my mom and hang out with her. Because I understood I've never been the person that I am in her presence, like. I mean, like, you're a different person when you go out in the world and you find out who you are and what you like and what you enjoy and what your core, sort of issues of injustice are with the world, what your disvalues are. Like you learn all that about yourself, and when you do that, 1,600 miles away from home, and you never have the opportunity to really be that person with your mother, and you only see them a couple days a year, every other year, for holidays or funerals. It's just, at that point I was like, I got to go home and I got to be the person that I am with my mom and just spend some time with her, because I didn't really feel like I got that during my childhood either. It's a longer story and conversation, but few things to me seem like they could be as meaningful as spending time with my mother. So here I am, and that was in May when I decided to pack up the car and the cat and drive from New York. I stopped in D.C., stopped in Nashville, stopped at Fort Worth, and then I drove from Fort Worth to Corpus Christi. And here I am today, and it has been a few months since I released that Dan Arl last episode down here, but that's the last episode for No Easy Answers that I've released. And the plan was not to go on hiatus. The plan was to get here and really double down on the media, double down on No Easy Answers, and book bigger, more notes with wider audience. How do you say book bigger guests? It's offensive, isn't it? It's like all my guests are wonderful. I love my guests. What I mean to say is that to double down and get some more people that are more people like Vijay Prashad or something, people like Gerald Horn, people like, dare I say it, Paul J. People like just to enhance No Easy Answers and maybe take it to a more professional video interview, because I don't follow the Bad Faith podcast. I don't really like that podcast, but I do think the way that Brianna presents herself in the interview format and video format and stylings is something to be admired. And so I thought, well, I could do all that with all the free time that I'll have, because that's the thing. I never really had free time in New York, but I get to South Texas, I get to Corpus Christi, man, and I was planning on doing all this, and then I got here and I didn't expect to have a job offer the next day for a full-time gig, working at an AV company, doing sales and marketing, technical stuff too. And I just thought, the hourly wage and the number of hours and the things they want me to focus on was just an opportunity that I couldn't pass up. So therein comes in, I started working this 40-hour-a-week job. And then I still had Max's podcast to do on top of that, because I'm still producing Working People. And so that's 2 jobs. And so I thought, okay, maybe I can squeeze in an episode here and there. I did the Dan Arl podcast at that point. And then I got a 4th job. And then a 4th job. And I was not expecting this. But I got hired as a professor at Texas A&M University, Corpus Christi. So I now teach recording at A&M Corpus, which is super cool. I'm really happy about all that. And my life is so full right now. But I just could not find the time to figure out the No Easy Answers thing. It just kept slipping through the cracks, and I couldn't find time to focus on it. And when I did have time, I needed to rest, so that way I could make all those other obligations. And then I got a 5th job, which is crazy too, which is I started talking to a friend down here who is a wedding planner, and she organizes beach weddings, which is super cool. And what she does is really remarkable in terms of event management, and it's totally in my wheelhouse, but she needed an officiant, someone who marries people. So I got ordained on the internet and started officiating weddings. And that's only a couple per month, and but it's still a 5th job. And so I had 5 jobs at one point. And then I got fired just very recently, about 2 weeks ago, for my full-time gig. So I have 40 hours a week open again. So I say all that Because the plan was always to double down on No Easy Answers and continue on and keep doing shit. But I needed to update and get the media side going, the video side. This is not a world where audio context is going to be sufficient for very much longer, I feel. Everything's going to video, and you can't even just do HD and get by these days. You need 4K stuff. So, why am I upping the media side? Yeah, it's all for No Easy Answers, right? Well, there's another plan too. Now that I have some free time, and I was able to live at my mom's place and save some money, which I know I'm not capable of saving money. I just can't do it. I bought some cameras. I got this camera that I'm speaking to you now on, which is a little Sony ZV-1. I also picked up a Canon R7, and I'm looking at lenses for those now. And I also picked up a 4K drone. So there's some stuff in the plans, and I'm going to share a little bit of those plans with you now for what I plan to be doing. And then I'll come back around to No Easy Answers and what's going on with that. I am going to transition No Easy Answers into first primarily more of a video formatted show. 2, I am going to start shooting a No Easy Answers production. Basically transitioning No Easy Answers, in addition to being the video show, video vlog or whatever, and the podcast, I'm going to start shooting my first documentary. And it's been a long time coming because I primarily am an audio guy. I don't really deal a whole lot with video. But what's really cool too is the university that I got hired at, they've given me a MacBook Pro. So now your proletarian fucking audio guy has access to some real shit. I have 4K cameras, I have a MacBook Pro, and I've got a 4K display now. Yeah, so all that said, technology has always been subservient to art for me. And I have done a lot of things in the audio and music realm, in the podcast realm. And I think it's time for me to make this transition into being a documentarian. And the first documentary I'm going to start filming is called Prisonville. I'd like to take a moment and tell you a little bit about this documentary now. Prisonville is about Willacy County, Texas, about an hour and a half south of here. The county seat of Willacy County is Raymondville, Texas. This is like nothing more than cotton fields and farm roads down there. This town is a tiny town, the entire county has 20,000 people in it, if it gives you any idea of what the population of the actual county seat might be. This is a really tiny town, and people have started calling it Prisonville. Because in around 2004, they made a deal with the private prison industry. And that deal was that a private prison will be built in Raymondville, Texas, and the revenue from that prison will be made by leasing the beds to the U.S. Marshal Service and Immigration and Customs Enforcement. So there is an ICE detention center, a criminal alien requirement jail, which is about an hour and a half from me. This jail is managed by MTC, that's Management and Training Corporation, which is one of the biggest private prison contractor or private prison companies in the United States and the world, really. All this being said, there is a story to tell about the prison, how it got built, who first pitched the idea, the bribery scandal that went down with county commissioners who were caught accepting bribes from the private prison people to vote yes on the prison being built. There's the fact that jail was encouraged to be 2 to 3 times the max occupancy needed in a given time in order to plan for future growth. There are the numerous sexual assault allegations, human trafficking, like guards that were arrested for trafficking undocumented people past Border Patrol checkpoints that were north of there. This all sort of came to a head in about 2015 when there was a prison riot in this facility. Now, mind you, they call it Prisonville because there's not only the local county jail there, there's a jail there run by Texas Department of Criminal Justice, and there's also the federal prison, and then there was also a 1,000-bed tent city that housed illegal immigrants. I mean, tent city in South Texas with this kind of heat that we're known for in South Texas, that is unbelievable that they would house people outside without air conditioning. Reports of conditions in there have always been that there were maggots in the food, or there was insufficient food, inadequate medical care, sewage rolling, toilets always overflowing, to the point where this all erupted in a riot and the jail was closed for 2 years. But then you have this narrative of like the small town and about how the jail brought jobs to the town. And because the jail brought jobs and stimulated the economy there, Walmart moved in. And then when the jail had a riot and the jail had to close down, all those people were laid off. And then Walmart left town, and it left this small sort of rural agricultural community desperately seeking revenues to service the debt they had taken on for the jails, and they had nowhere to turn to but the original company. They sold the jail. They sold that jail back to, they sold it to Management and Training Company, the original company who mismanaged the jail that led to a riot. So all that being said, there's a circus of local officials and all the boneheaded fucking decisions that these people made. All the gullibility and stupidity that comes from a sheltered living in a small town. All of the corruption that comes with bribery scandals, and the indictment of not only the county commissioners, but of Dick fucking Cheney. Dick Cheney was indicted during all of this. And I have been researching this endlessly, relentlessly. I have put together a timeline. I have found newspapers from going back 40, 50 years before this, and found relevant info as to like the history of the jail that led up to the decision making to build the private prison. This is what I'm working on, and I had to put my nose to the grindstone for a little bit and work to get some money up, so that way I can have the proper video equipment to document all of this, the proper video equipment to, enhance and bring No Easy Answers to the next level. Today, as of today, I mean, I'm just like a couple lenses short of everything that I could possibly need to do this. And I don't, what is the purpose of this documentary? Well, there's already a lot of prison documentaries detailing the horrific conditions that are there and the need for prison abolition and all this stuff, right? All that stuff exists. But what I don't think people have a clear picture of is the bumbling stupidity that people, that the decision making that goes into this stuff. It's not made by a bunch of fucking geniuses. It's made by a bunch of, small town local officials that are chomping at the bit for some kind of revenue in their poverty-stricken county. It comes from both humble aspirations of just wanting to do right by the people that live in your community that you serve, but it's also the outlandish, call it economic gambits that county officials had considered in the process of, trying to work out how they could get additional funds to the county to raise themselves out of poverty to help the people that they serve. So it's it's a hell of a story. It reads like something out of like it reads like an episode of Arrested Development is what it does actually, which is wild because like this is a serious topic, right? I'm not trying to write a satire, but so far it reads like an episode of Arrested Development. You would not believe the shit that goes down with this stuff. And so I want to make a few No Easy Answers episodes about this where we have long-form interviews, or I have long-form interviews with the local officials, some of the good guys. I'm not trying to talk to cops or anything like that. But I will say that, like, if I start doing the podcast episodes, and then I'm sure I could compile those into a film and use the content from the podcast, the audio content at least, and the video content if we're taking No Easy Answers to a video level, like a vlog kind of. I think all that stuff is possible. And that's what I've been working on. So I guess, you know, I've said I'm sorry, I've said thank you, I've said thank you, I've said what No Easy Answers is up to, I've said what I've been up to, I've said where the podcast is going, and the documentary, right? And the last thing is that I'm going to be releasing in a couple days an episode for subscribers and the public, which is an interview with Wahid Azal about the Iranian feminist revolution. I think it's really important that we turn our attention to that and we understand what's going on there, because it doesn't seem like it's going away, and it seems like that is a wild card in the sort of geostrategic sort of sense of the phrase, man. Like Iran has been this sort of, you know, buttress that everyone else can lean on. Russia, you know, China, that, like, not in terms of leaning on, but at least it wasn't showing any signs of cracking. It was like another solid player in this equation that is not so solid anymore. And what that means for the overall analysis, I'm not really sure. But I am really excited about presenting that episode to you. Wahid lives in Australia, if you remember that from the last episode we did with him. And so I had to be up at 3 a.m. in order to film that. And we just did audio only, actually, for that one. So I'm going to edit and publish that at some point soon. But No Easy Answers hasn't gone away. We have plans for episodes. We have plans for this documentary. We have plans for taking No Easy Answers to the next level in terms of becoming more video-centric. The audio stuff will stay the same. It'll still be audio just like that, but it'll have a video component also. And I can also come up with more bonus episodes, and not just bonus episodes, but just bonus content. Like, let me know if you have any type of suggestions for bonus content that you would enjoy. I'm going to be posting probably drone footage at some point. I'll be taking this camera with me for vlogging, so I'll get out in Corpus Christi and bring you all more interesting backgrounds. You know, it might function as a vlog as well behind the Patreon wall, so that way I can keep you guys more updated as I go along with the status of all this stuff. So, okay, thank you again for your continued support and not giving in, and knowing that I'm here. And I love you all, and thank you. And I'll hope to see you and hear from you soon. Bye.